Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and happy new year. So in today's video, I actually want to talk about financial goals, thinking about what happened in 2022, what to think about going into 2023, and all of that jazz. And as you can see, I am in my car today. I thought, let's have a change of scenery and just have a candid chat around, financial goals and just what has been happening. So I feel like I'm not the only one who probably thinks that 2022 was just such an interesting year, if we put that politely. I just feel like, we went into the pandemic in 2020 and that was obviously very crazy and uncertain. And then it felt like 2021, we were going back to normal and things were going well. And if you were investing in the stock market, your stocks were going up and it was all hunky-dory. And then as soon as we got into 2022, it just felt like a car crash, essentially. So if you feel like this year has been difficult or you've not been able to meet some of the goals that you may have had, don't feel like it's just you, like you're not alone. Like we didn't even hit some of the goals that we had. But what I realized is, especially this year, I feel so grateful because just even looking at what's been happening around the world, there are people seriously struggling, and they have been struggling since the pandemic. And so for me to be able to have food and shelter and to be able to travel and to be able to work, that has really been a blessing, I think, for us. And I just have to be so thankful to God that, we have been okay, even if this year has felt slightly challenging. And so what I would say is, take some time to just think about how grateful you are to still be here, and especially if you have food, shelter and all of that stuff. Really think about that, even if 2022 wasn't the most amazing year yet. So with that, let's talk about some of the reflections on 2022 and what you might want to think about. And specifically from a financial perspective, I would even say that when I look back at my goals and our goals, because I'm married, even with that, we may not have hit it because we actually ended up changing some of our goals throughout the year. So for example, if I look at some of our personal finance goals, one of the goals at the beginning of the year we were thinking about is actually saving for a property to actually let out. And I think within halfway through the year, we basically changed that and decided that we had other life goals. And so we decided that we were actually going to now focus on buying our own house because we have these other things, thinking about starting a family and all of that. So even that goal changed. And I always tell my clients, your goals can 100% change. My goals have changed every year, but it's just thinking about how you can still work towards some of those goals and just, kind of tracking your progress and seeing how you're doing and seeing where you might need to adapt. So if your goals have changed, don't worry, our goals completely changed. So if I just look back on my goals as an example, in terms of personal finance, yes, the buy to let was a goal that we had at the beginning of the year. That completely changed. So now we're thinking about buying our own house. So in terms of how much we're now going to be saving, it will be towards that instead. That is going to be one of the focuses. And then the second goal that we had is that we wanted to have a joint stock portfolio of around £10,000, which is maybe around $12,000 or $13,000. And we didn't even really focus that much on our stock portfolios this year either. I thought we were going to focus more on it this year, but we didn't. And that was partly because I decided to focus more on investing in my business, and my husband wanted to invest in other things as well. I don't really know what he wanted to invest in, but yeah, so we didn't even really focus on that. I think we got to over 7k, so about 3k off, which actually isn't too bad. But yeah, essentially that was one of our goals that kind of changed. And if I move on to some of my other goals, so I had different business goals, and even that, guys, that was just an absolute shambles, I'm not gonna lie, because even with the goals that I set, I didn't even set that many goals this year, but I just felt like 2022 was just very different to 2021. So for example, one of my business goals was to launch my website. I didn't really end up doing that, but I realized that I don't necessarily need it. I have a domain and I have a kind of website that I use, but that's all I have. So I'm not really going to be doing that next year anyway, so I kind of scrapped that off. Another goal that I had was YouTube ad revenue. So I wanted to hopefully make around £3,000 on YouTube ad revenue, and I definitely did not hit that at all. This year with my YouTube channel was very, very slow, and I think that's partly my fault as well, because basically, I think around after March time, I decided that I was going to cut down my videos. So I was going to go from 2 videos a week to 1 video a week, and YouTube really did not like that. Like, they really did not like that. And so yeah, with YouTube I didn't do that well. I think I ended up making around 1,300, and even when it came to my own like paid products, so like my budget templates, I think I wanted to make around £800 like after fees in terms of my templates, and I think I made around just under 400 this year instead. So that was definitely not as much as I expected. Then with affiliate marketing, this is actually one that I exceeded, which I was very surprised at, because affiliate marketing has not ever been my strong point, or it's just not something that I've really focused on. And if you're not really sure what affiliate marketing is, it's basically like if I have products or things that I use in my description in my YouTube channel and things like that, and if you click on those links and you maybe purchase something, then I'll get a small commission, but it doesn't make a difference to you. Like, the price doesn't change for you. So in terms of affiliate marketing, I just wanted to make £100. That's all I wanted for the year, but I ended up making over, I think, £120. So yeah, I pretty much exceeded that. Very surprised, but yeah, affiliate marketing is affiliate marketing. One day though, I think I will start to focus on it. It's just not my priority right now. In terms of like the goals for 2022, that was personally what I had set, but really the main thing that I said in 2022 was like my main theme, which I have on my phone, was to be present and build a solid foundation. And I remember, I think I did a YouTube video saying that really that was the main thing out of what I wanted to achieve in 2022. Like, the goals I had set, I mean, honestly, they were goals that were just kind of casual, but my main thing was just being present, because if you're subscribed to my channel, then you might know that I had recently quit my job because I was basically almost at the point where I was burning out. And so I really wanted to take a step back and just kind of figure out what I really wanted, like what was God telling me, and to just focus on myself a bit more. So I think I did achieve that. I mean, some of the things that I remember I wanted to focus on is focus on me, so my faith, my health, my marriage, and my mindset. I definitely think I did that this year. I will say that this year was probably one of the hardest years mindset wise though, and I say this because I feel like when you are like going to work, or you know, maybe you've got kids and you're always running around after your kids, and if your life is just so busy, it's very difficult to just be. And it's very difficult to just sit in your thoughts. And so for me to take out 8 or 9 hours of, you know, normal work was crazy for me, because I'm like so used to hustling. I'm so used to being so busy, because if I wasn't working, I was doing YouTube. If I wasn't doing YouTube, I was cooking like for my family, right? And so all of that stuff just meant that I was always so busy. And so to actually cut like 8 hours out of that for the day, each day, it really got me to think more, and you know, just having different thoughts. I didn't realize like how difficult it was being in my own thoughts. And yeah, I'm just gonna say that it was like a very tough time. Like, I almost had like an identity crisis. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing with my life, even though I'm only 27. So does anyone know what they're doing with their lives at this point? But you really just get thinking a lot. And so yes, it was really good that I got to take time to, I guess, be in my thoughts, but at the same time, it was probably one of the hardest things that I have had to do mindset wise. And I'm not gonna lie, like 2022 was tough when it came to just being in my thoughts. But I am, you know, thankful to God that I did do this, because now I've been able to come out of the other side, and now I'm like, okay, now I know what I'm focusing on. Now I know what I feel like God's purpose is for me. So I'm just gonna keep going with that. And some of the other things that I wanted to do was like continue to educate myself, create content, you know, be able to coach women and all of that stuff. Like, that stuff I feel like I still did in 2022, and it's still something that I think I want to carry on into 2023. I actually quite like filming in the car, so if you did like this version, make sure you comment I like cars, so I know to do more in the future. If you don't like it, then of course I will stop doing them. And so let's talk about, what do you want to be doing when it comes to 2023? And I think like in terms of maybe macroeconomic thing, you know, there's people talking about fears of a recession and, you know, job losses and all of that stuff. And I think like it's just still really important to, again, just think about what you can control and what do you want to focus on this year. And so even if there is all of this negativity going on, really ask yourself, like, what do I want to focus on this year? Or if you're a person of faith, what do you feel like God wants you to pursue this year and keep doing this year? For me, from like a kind of life faith perspective, I definitely want to still keep working on my mindset. I think that's something that is so important, whether you're thinking about your finances or not. Like, your mindset is what is going to have an impact in terms of the actions that you take and what you actually end up doing. And so that is going to be a main focus. The other thing that I forgot to mention, which I will say, is when you're thinking about, you know, setting some of your financial goals, also think about how your life goals may also have an impact on your financial goals. So I'll use myself as an example. When we were thinking about like buying a house to rent out, the reason why we changed that is because our life goals changed. So if our life goals didn't change, our financial goals probably wouldn't have changed. And so because we were thinking about, actually, we're probably going to start a family and all of that stuff, because we were focusing on that, that meant that our financial goals would change. So if you've got any kind of specific life goals, for example, maybe you're planning to get married, or maybe you're planning to like have kids or start a family by God's grace, all of that stuff will then have an impact on your own financial goals, because then you'll be thinking, okay, financially, what does that mean? Especially if you feel like, oh, I don't really know what financial goals to set. Your life goals can help direct you to what financial goals you want to have. But also, if you're thinking about your financial goals, really think about, okay, not even just what you want to achieve next year. Like I always tell my clients, don't just think about, you know, the next few months or the next year. What do you actually want to achieve long term? Like, what do you want your finances to be like over the next 10 or 20 years? Like, do you want to have a solid retirement? Do you want to work towards things like financial independence, so you don't have to just depend on your job to make money? And so with that, that's when you now want to think about, well, what do I need to do today, this month, this year, in order for me to help me fulfill some of those long-term goals? What I would say is take the time to think about this deeply and just think, okay, well, what do I want to achieve? Like, what am I going to be working towards? Like for us, for example, one of the key things that we've always wanted to work towards, I think since I basically started learning about personal finance, is this goal of financial independence. So having the option to do things when you want to do it, how you want to do it, and all of that good stuff. So that's always going to be a focus. But also in the short term, one of our focuses is going to be on buying our own house. Some of you guys might not know, I'm not a first-time buyer, so it does make it a little bit difficult, because essentially we're buying an additional property, and it just means that like taxes are more expensive, and yeah, it's just all a bit long at the moment. But that's going to be our focus throughout 2023 and going into 2024 as well. So again, when you're thinking about your long-term goals, then also think about, okay, well, what do you need to be doing this year to help some of those goals? Do you have any other short-term goals as well? Maybe you're trying to save up for a wedding or a car or even holidays or anything like that. Think about, okay, well, how much is that going to cost? What do I now want to start putting away in order for me to actually reach that goal this year? And so I can use ourselves as an example when it comes to our 2023 goals. We've not really like written it down yet or completely like thought about it in a concrete way, but I would definitely say the house deposit is going to be a big one. So for us, I think we want to be at least saving, I think minimum $1,100 a month. So hopefully by the end of 2023, we're definitely not going to be at the point where we buy the house then, but we at least want to start being in the process to buy the house by the end of 2023. So maybe we start looking at properties, or we talk to our mortgage broker, for example. That is something that we want to be doing, and then we'll carry that on to 2024, hopefully. Fingers crossed, unless things like absolutely drastically change. You never know, you know, with what's going on at the moment, things could change, but at the moment, that's what we're going to be focusing on. And then from an investment perspective, we actually invested quite a lot of our savings last year in 2022. So what we're going to be doing is more so focusing on saving in 2023, but also investing a small amount. So I think we would at least want to have invested at minimum about £1,000, which is maybe around $1,200, into like our various investments. So we're not going to be investing as much this year as we did last year, but that's also okay, because you know, things will change. There's going to be times, there's going to be seasons where you save more, there's going to be seasons where you invest more. So this season I think is a season of saving, which is great for me because I love saving as well, but I also love investing too. So we do want to still invest at least a little bit, and then hopefully in 2024, after we get like the house stuff sorted, fingers crossed by God's grace, we can then shift back into investing a lot more. So I'm going to be very excited to see kind of what happens over the next couple of years. But I think in terms of like our personal finances, that is probably our two biggest things. And in terms of like even my business, I don't even think I'm going to set too many goals around this. I think the one thing that I may just set is like, I would like to have made more than I did in 2022 in terms of like even my ad revenue, affiliate marketing, paid products and all of that stuff. I think I will look at the numbers for 2022 and say, okay, like if I can make more than this, I think I'll be good. Because 2023, I don't know, like we don't know what 2023 is going to be like. It could be absolutely crazy. It could be like really good. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to keep optimistic and just again focus on what I can control. So my main thing is going to continue to make content as well. So please do let me know like what kind of content you want to see, like what you're struggling with, so that I can be able to help you guys a lot more. But in terms of 2023, you know, I'm looking forward to the year. I think despite everything going on, we can still make it a great year. I'm excited to have more experiences. I mean, in 2022, we were able to travel to like New York and Raleigh, and then we went to Punta Cana for our honeymoon. So it was a great year overall, even if it was a bit tough, especially in the first half of the year. But yeah, I'm still excited for 2023. I think we should also try to be as optimistic as possible. If you're a person of faith, you know that God has your back anyway. And so I'm very excited. If you feel like 2023 is the year for you to actually focus on your finances and you would love more support with that, and you've been thinking about working with me, that is definitely something that you can do this year too. So make sure you do book a call with me just to find out more about one-on-one coaching and how I can help you get better with your finances and help you save more and start investing in all of that good stuff. But I think I'm going to leave it here. Here's to a fabulous 2023, no matter the circumstances. So I'm excited to see what we all accomplished this year. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And if you are interested in more financial content, then do make sure you subscribe to this channel as well, as I post every Tuesday. And I will of course see you guys next week.